It's always a special occasion to have you here.
Oh, I agree.
You know.
Why do I have 2 bottles of water? Are we going to stay here that long?
We are. This is a 7-hour panel. So,
I'm going to sell one of these bottles. I'll auction one of these off. We want questions that deal with current events, things that require knowledge and culture and stuff like, why is Marvel better than DC? You go ahead.
Well, except for Harley Quinn, of course. No, we'd love to take some questions from you guys, and I guess how we do it is, let's go. I'm going to repeat the question.
Before you do, I've got to tell you, even though I look like a model of physical perfection to you, I don't hear as well as I used to. So the chances are I won't be able to hear the question clearly, so Jim will repeat it to me. So I don't want you to think he's doing it because he has nothing else to do, but I've asked him to help me out. Okay, here we go.
Go ahead. Oh, you go over to the microphone, that makes it easier.
My question is, have you ever designed for or with her in mind a particular character?
What you know if you've ever designed your characters you created?
No, the only thing I've done is ask the artist to change designs. For example, I always hated the way Iron Man looked when he was first drawn. And we changed him about a dozen times in subsequent issues. And I was never satisfied with the way he looked, no matter who drew it. Finally, they made the movie, and that's the way Iron Man's impression. So I figured instead of that, I'm going to give him a different skin color. That'll be the nearest thing to a costume. And I thought gray would be a great color because it's kind of scary looking. And nobody was using it at the moment. So I colored him gray in the first issue. And the printer wasn't able to do the color at one page. It looked like dark gray one page. He looked black one page. It looked like he was light gray. He didn't look consistent. So when you're an editor of comics, like I was, you're a little bit like God. You can change somebody's skin color. So for the second issue, I said, let's make him green. And the printer was able to get the same shade of green on every page, and that's why the Hulk is green. If we had a better printer, it would have been gray. So you know something that nobody in the outside world knows, and keep it to yourself.
I came here because I can't stand you getting so much attention. I decided that I want to trash your panel.
I hope it says Luke, because he'll forget his name.
We're on a Megacon, and all of you here celebrating the legacy of the Hulk.
Does or who he is, but speaks very well.
Don't tell what a nice guy you are. That when I was a little kid, I could read the magazine, the Hulk comic book, I can do the comic. That's the reason why I look like this today, because I want to be like the Hulk, and thank you to you.
You know how long it took him to wash the green off? He's still got a little bit behind the ears.
Don't you love this guy? There was one thing with him. I was the first one to have the Hulk series begin. He came on the series on a couple of episodes. But think about this. Today, we have superheroes, the Avengers dominating the box office because everyone wants to be a superhero. That's what we have today. And next week, we have the Avengers.
Hey, I got an idea. What if we make the new Guardians of the Galaxy? What if the three of us were the next Guardians of the Galaxy?
You mean we're not?
Well, we would need somebody like Yandu or, you know, like to help us out. And,
Well, think of the character. I'll definitely play the character.
Yeah.
Like
That would be awesome if you go out
I think he's leading up to something.
Anyway, speaking of the Guardians of the Galaxy, here we go. Michael Rooker.
There's two guys overshadowed.
No way. I feel like I'm in an MMA competition here.
We got the strongest guy in the world and we got the scariest guy in the world. I'm glad you're here. Anybody know who this guy is? Is that more applause than we got? You're all right. All right,
You
sit
guys are
down.
awesome. Oh, like I have to sit down? Oh,
You want to stand? No, you can overshadow us. Sit down, but sit down somewhere over there.
is this Mike?
You better not take Lou's chair, he'll tear you apart. Remember when I told you how to build yourself up, Lou?
I did 100 push-ups before I
I
came.
gave him all his exercises, I told him what to do.
All right, what we do now?
Okay, I have a question.
Question.
Two amazing actors are up there with you. I wanted to know how much input you have in selecting the actors that play these awesome.
Stan does all the casting. From Marvel and Disney.
Make all the money too.
No, I only cast myself for the cameos, the rest of them. I want you to stop referring to them as cameos. I now think of them as supporting roles.
Right.
Well, then what would be your ideal supporting role that you haven't played yet?
If Ferrigno and whatever his name is, Michael, if they were in the movie and I was the guy who beat him up, that would be a great role. But the trouble is it would be too lifelike.
Michael, I think he wants.
He's a violent individual.
Every convention I go to, this guy crops up. He gets the limelight, he gets all the fans. I stand around hoping someone will talk to me. Thank goodness Lou is here, because nobody knows who he is.
I do a little whistle. I walk by Stan's table and I whistle. It's sort of like a Pied Piper thing, and the fans follow me.
Can't tell what he says when he talks in the mic. It's horrible, but it's okay. It's never worth hearing anyway. See, they're talking about me.
Listen, let's get a big round of applause for our special guest here to have to get back to work.
Zombie question, you can help me with this. If you were dead and then you came back to life, why would you want to hurt people? You'd be so happy. Ooh, I'm alive again. You'd want to go to the movies. You'd want to have a steak dinner. Why would you want to be a bad person? I want that whole idea to be changed, and I want it more realistic. I want you to be a good person. Not easy.
I thought Earl Dixon was a good person on The Walking Dead.
They killed him off on The Walking Dead. How many of you feel you get the point that they killed him off?
Oh, yeah, but you know what? If that hadn't happened, I would not have been in Guardians of the Galaxy.
There you go. Thank you.
Love you, brother. Okay, bye, everybody.
Most favorite thing about seeing your comic books come to life and playing these supporting roles, as you put it.
The supporting role of that. I can tell you there are few things as thrilling as seeing something that you had a hand in creating coming to life on the screen and being even better than you thought it could be. I mean, some of these movies. Oh, wait till you see the Avengers, the new one. They're opening tomorrow on Monday in Los Angeles, and I'll be there knocking on the door trying to get them to let me in. It's going to be great. And wait till you see my supporting role. He's saying I'm not allowed to tell too much about it. I know that. But I can tell them it's the first supporting role I've had that has 2 scenes. Is like 6 seconds long. If you see it, you'll see.
What was your favorite supporting role that you played in?
Gee whiz. They're all so good. And I don't know why I haven't gotten an Oscar yet. I think they're probably working, right? My favorite one, honestly, my favorite one is the one that's opening up tomorrow. You've got to see the Avengers because it's the funniest one I've done. You're going to see it and you're going to say, wow, Stan wasn't kidding. This is great. I'm going to come and buy another ticket and see it again. That's how we make our money. People love the cameo so much that they buy more and more tickets.
It's true.
All right, so staying on the topic of supporting roles, seeing as how they become such a staple part of the Marvel films, I wanted to know how they got their start and why you think they've become such a big deal with fans.
You know, it's amazing. It takes the person a couple of minutes to ask the question, and this is why you're a good writer and editor. You condense it down to a few choice words. You're very good at that. Now I forgot the question. I know. So did I.
All right, so seeing as how your supporting roles are a staple part in Marvel films, I wanted to know how they got their start and why you think they're so big with fans.
How do I start? Yeah. It's because of the guy who did the first X-Men movie. Bryan Singer. I was testing you. Bryan Singer. I met him just the other day. Oh, he's doing the new X-Men, and he offered me a cameo into that to meet him. I wasn't in the last X-Men because they were shooting it in Europe, and I just couldn't get away. couldn't afford the fare. The question was, oh, how did it all start? Is that what it was? Sure. Well, Bryan Singer was doing the first X-Men movie, and he said, Stan, how would you like to be in one of the scenes? Now, you'll find this hard to believe, because you know how bashful I am. And I said to him, I'd love it. So he had me play a guy who was selling hot dogs on the beach when one of the characters walked by. And it didn't require much talent. All I did was hold the goddamn hot dog. I must have done it so well that when, I forgot his name, directed the Spider-Man. Sam Raimi, he's a friend of mine, I've got to say. When Sam Raimi did Spider-Man, he said, hey, how would you like to be in one of our scenes too? And I figured now we get a real chance to act. So I said, yeah, what'll I do? He said, well, you're going to be in the crowd downstairs looking up worried as things are happening. And that never hits me for about 2 seconds. But again, I must have done it so well. Then all of a sudden they were asking me to do, tell me about the supporting role. One funny one I thought, if you saw the Fantastic Four, where I couldn't get to the wedding because they didn't believe who I was. I thought that was kind of good. Although anybody would believe who I am, there's nobody else like me.
Well, I think the fun part for us, if I'm right, is that we wait for that scene. We wait for Stan to appear, so we know it's a Marvel movie. We know it's Stan.
It's really more than that. I'm going to tell you a secret why the movies make so much money. Because of the cameos, and here's why. And I told you I wasn't in the last X-Men movie. I could have flown to Europe, but they said, no, we don't want you in it. We'll make more money, and here's how. Somebody goes to see the X-Men, they sit through the whole movie. Wow, we didn't see Stan. We must have blinked, or maybe anybody would do. They go back to the box and buy another ticket for a chance to see me. So because of me, all these movies make twice the money that they would normally. And if you believe that, I have a rich portfolio.
And why didn't you have cameos in there?
Oh, the show hasn't finished yet. I mean, I got a cameo in Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. What is it? Carter? And I'll get one in Daredevil. They haven't found anything yet. They're looking for the kind of role, it must be obvious to you, they're looking for the kind of role that Lawrence Olivier would have played if he was here. And it's not easy, but you'll see me in Daredevil. He's one of my favorite characters.
First, it's an honor, sir. Thank you for being here. My question has to do with your work in general. You have influenced people of all ages from all over the world, myself included. I came from another country just to see you. Did you expect your work to be this big? And how does it make you feel that this is gonna go on, probably for many more years to come?
How are we here to summarize that? I'm going to show you why I'm such a good guest at the panels and why people love listening to me. It feels good. I don't think about it that much, especially the part when I'm gone. I think about that very rarely. But sometimes I can't believe it. I come to these conventions and people are dressed up like our characters. I mean, occasionally you'll see a Superman, but, no occasion. The guy is usually standing over in a corner. So. Oh, did you ever wonder, ever notice Superman lives, what city does Superman live? In Metropolis, and Batman lives in Gotham City, and where do our characters live? New York, in a real city, in the real world. I just wasn't able to tell Metropolis, that's all.
Yes. Hello, sir. It is an honor to be here and hear you talk. My question is, what is your best advice to artists who want to break into the comic industry?
Draw good. That question is asked often, and so is what's your best advice to writers? And honestly, I don't know how to answer either of them. What you've got to do if you're an artist or a writer, if you're an artist, you've got to send samples of your artwork to the editor of whatever book you're interested in at Marvel or at any company, and hope that they'll like your samples and want it. And you got to remember, your artwork has to be at least as good as what's being published now. Well, they've no reason to hire you because they've already got artists who can draw the way they're drawing. You've almost got to be, in fact, you've got to be a little bit better than the people we have in order for an editor to say, wow, look at this, this is great, let's call the guy. With writing, it's even, see, it's easy to tell how good an artist is. You look at the drawings, right? With writing, you have to do a lot of reading, and that's a little difficult. So if you're a writer who wants to get into comics, it helps if you write something else, like if you have a novel published, or if you have stories published in some regular magazines, where you can send those to the editor, and he can see, oh, this guy's a professional, he's been published, and he reads it, and oh, this is pretty well done. But if you're just a guy who writes a letter and says, I'd like to write Spider-Man, or this or that, they don't know what to make of it. It is very difficult to get into the business now, unless, as a writer, unless you're already really a professional. As an artist, again, all you've got to do is have artwork that'll knock the editor's eye out. Not easy, but I'm giving you what I think is a truthful answer. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, and now we have the internet. You can post your artwork on it. You can link people to it. You can even link.
I forgot about that. You're right.
And you can link an editor and say, look, here's my work. Honestly, if you blow them away, they'll probably call you because always looking. In a second, I see the camera focus on this. I have the world's smallest Stan Lee in my hands right now. Can you get any closer? Or no? Can you guys see it? It's a small Stan. If you look at it, it's brilliant. It's so dead on. I can't even tell you. It's unfortunate I can't just walk around with it. But it's made by a company called Co-Create. It's a 3D figure. They actually scanned Stan and made this figure. And we have, I think, 3 of them. We're going to give away.
Yeah, we have a few, but what we're going to do is give them away.
Giving them away?
What we're going to do is
Probably sell them for $1 or $2.
there's five of them. And we're going to do a little trivia. But the first question, it's got to be the true Marvel fan.
The original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, right? There's a close-up shot of him sketching out his Spidey suit for the first time in his notebook. What Marvel artist, whose hand was used to draw that? Right there.
We have the scans. First person raises their hand only. How many years has he been married? Let's go with the young lady right here. No, how many years? I got to do the math quick. You got 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
Even I have trouble
4.
I'm going to do this. I follow orders, so I say, happy birthday to Aisha.
There's Aisha. Give him a look.
Good friend, Aisha.
I wanted to know, and I purposely derived myself to figure this out, I just want to figure out from you. Where did the whole thing for Excelsior come from? I'm kind of curious about that.
Well, we had to get back to DC Comics. I used to write a soapbox column, and I used little expressions in the soapbox column, like "nuff said" and things like that. And little by little, I saw my expressions popping up in the DC books. And I said, I've got to think of something that they won't be able to copy, because they won't know what the hell it means. And up from New York, and the great seal of the state of New York has the word Excelsior on it. Kind of a dramatic word. It means upward and onward to greater glory. And I figured they'd never know what that meant. They'd never know how to spell it. I started ending what I wrote with Excelsior. And now, of course, I've made the word so famous, whoever created it ought to send me a royalty. But that's the origin of Excelsior. It's my own little word, and don't you go using it. Or I'll tell DC on you.
That's great. I got to mention that Stan's going to be at the ACDC, it's the Atlantic City Boardwalk Convention coming up. If any of you guys are in New Jersey or in the New Jersey area, you should see Stan there. You can probably gamble all his money away, but it'll be a fun time. And also want to mention that Stan is on Twitter.
Oh yeah, big on Twitter.
He's big on Twitter. And he's at it's at the real Stan Lee. And it is the real Stan Lee.
But I gotta tell you a secret about that. I don't really have time to do that stuff, so there are other people who write these Twitters for me. But I have no idea what they're writing, so you kind of check them out. And if you read anything that isn't right or that doesn't sound like me, you let me know and I'll give them hell.
So when you told me you loved me on Twitter, that wasn't you?
I never told you about that. I couldn't remember who you were.
It's funny, real quick, I put input on that. It's true what he says sometimes on what he doesn't write everything on there. He makes little funny things, but his wife, which is the queen bee that runs the whole show, makes it get on.
I don't like
can you disappoint your
my wife more than about me.
He doesn't like to talk about his wife more than him.
Although I haven't talked to him about his wife. Do you know why, guys? Honestly, I'm going to tell you why. It's because I get good points. So anyway, yeah, he does do it, but his wife's the one that gets him. He stays up late at night.
I resent one thing. Whenever I call my wife, instead of saying, "How are you?" she says, "How's Max?"
It doesn't sound right.
It's always right, trust me. And mind you, I've known him for over 12 years already, and I get along with his daughter. When I go to shows or events with him, this is Max Anderson, or his wife will say, "Oh, this is Max." Or when I'm with his daughter, and I'll get introduced, he goes, "Hey, so-and-so, so-and-so." "Oh, who's that?" "Oh, that's my evil little brother, Max." So, it's funny. But anyway, guys, Stan's got to go.
Yep.
But